Hey everybody, welcome back to another James Draws Everything. In this series, we're drawing every country in the world's flag, and hope everybody is having a good weekend. Happy Sunday. Me, interesting weekend. So, big storms here over the past couple of days. Ended up losing a tree next to my house that was probably about 200 feet tall. Knocked power out for a few days, and also had an issue with my car battery. So all sorts of problems. Everything's back up and running now, and you know it's always running. My markers are always running, so we can always do this. Okay, so just to kind of recap, yesterday we did Nigeria. I also had a conversation with the Nigerian president yesterday. He was not too happy about what I did to the flag, likening it to a pack of menthols, but I, of course, did not apologize, because I don't do that. And just like a pack of menthols, this channel brings, refreshing, minty goodness to all. Okay, so what are we doing today, James? We are going to be drawing Bhutan, and Bhutan is north of India, in between India and China, kind of at the foothill of the Himalayan mountain range. And I've been hearing, a lot of criticism. James, you're just coloring stuff in. Like, when are we actually going to see you start to draw? And okay, I get it. I understand the criticism. And today, that's why we're tackling Bhutan, because Bhutan has a pretty complicated flag. Okay, so Bhutan, it's kind of split in half down the middle here, so I'm just going to draw some guidelines. And down the middle of this line, there is a giant dragon. And if you need to know why that's cool, this channel might not be for you. I shouldn't have to explain that. Okay, so this dragon kind of wraps around the middle here, so I'm not going to go into all the details right away, but I just want to get my general shape in, just because, again, it is a pretty complicated design, so we need to kind of have our general outline in before we start going crazy with the details. Okay, and James, as you're doing this, what can you tell us about Bhutan? Well, Bhutan, again, it's in the subcontinent region of Asia, kind of part of that subcontinent with India, South Asia. Achieved independence in 1907. It was a monarchy. In 2005, they adopted some constitutional amendments to their monarchy. So, constitutional monarchy, a lot like a lot of the Middle Eastern countries. And yeah, so as you know, Great Britain was there in a lot of the 19th century, and as they kind of relaxed their hold on things, Bhutan was declared independent in 1907, and they also had kind of a working relationship with both India and Great Britain. When India gained independence, they had some further land concessions, treaties, and whatnot, and actually became responsible for Bhutan's military defense for a period of time there. Okay, yeah, and the dynasty, it's called the Wangchuck dynasty. Those are the ones that were there in 1907 and still there to this day, I believe. As recently as 2005, they were still there. Okay, so this thing is called the Druk. It's the Thunder Dragon. It's the emblem of the nation. It's going to be all white, and the outlines are going to be black. Because I'm going pretty into detail here, I'm going to be using my 0.1, and then if we need to fatten up the lines, we can always go back later. Okay, so let's see. Just want to go ahead. I'm going to get the arc of his back first. You know what? Actually, I think I will go a little bit wider. We don't need the 0.1. We're not going to do the 0.5. Let's try the 0.3. I think this is a little too thin. Okay, much better. Yeah, because you're probably not even going to see what I'm drawing if I use that. Alright, so his spine we're drawing first, and then I'll do one of his claws. I'll finish that off while I'm here before we go into the other one. Alright, so he's got like little scales detailed into his legs here, and his claws are actually gripping pearls. So that's what this is here on the bottom. And the pearl's got a couple little lines in them, and then the claw behind that one is doing the same thing. Yeah, I don't know what public education is like in Bhutan, but anybody here is from Bhutan. Like when you're in school, do you have to draw your flag or anything like that? Because I can't imagine that's easy. It's not like drawing most of these flags. Okay, so now we're on the front part here, so he's kind of got some bigger claws in the front. It almost looks like he's grabbing like an apple or something in the flag. Okay, so he's got the grip around the pearl, and the pearl's got like kind of a little shiny thing annotated into it. Okay, and then I'm going to come back up and around, and then I'm just going to draw one last leg. Oh, and this one he's kind of holding it up. Alright, so his claws are on the bottom here. He's holding it up like he's going to eat it or something. Alright, so there's that. And I don't know what these are supposed to be, but he's got like little like feather looking things coming off some of his joints here. So like over here, like coming off the elbow. So we'll make sure we get those in there. I don't know what those are supposed to be. You tell me if you know your Eastern mythology. He's got some kind of thing in his cheek here with more of those like whiskers, would you call them? I guess, coming off. And then that kind of loops around and goes up into his snout. And he's got like little segmented little bumps here on his snout. His eyes, he's actually kind of just got like your basic little like cartoon eyes there. So that part's easy. Oh boy, we got a lot going on up here. Alright, so oh geez, James, where to start? Okay, so he's got like, and again, I don't know what you call these, like looks like plants or something growing off his head. Okay, so that works. Alright, and he's got more of a scale pattern, and then coming off of, or actually here on this, he's got like a little line design here. Alright, so now I'm going to draw the bottom part of his mouth, and he's got more whiskers popping off here. Alright, and then he's got kind of after the bottom, or at the bottom, I don't know if this is supposed to be like his tongue sticking out of there. And I'm kind of simplifying some of this, guys, just because this thing is really, really detailed, and we're working at this scale. Can't afford to put all the details in, because then the thing is just going to get lost. So again, you know, I like drawing small because it kind of makes you have to pick and choose what you're doing. You know, you can't go in and add everything at a smaller scale. So kind of makes you, you know, be selective in what you do. Sharpen your toolbox. You know, you're working with a limited space, so you got to be, you know, economic in how you choose what to draw. Okay, and he's got like, I don't know what these are, like his tail feathers or something. And he's got one. Okay, let me just do those little underbelly here, and he's got lines Okay, so I think I like what I've got so far. Now, before I go in and put in too much detail, like I just gotta basically like do the scales and stuff that are on his body. Just gonna get rid of some of those grid lines first, because we don't want to add too much detail and then try to erase over it, because it might create a mess. And these pens dry pretty quick too, so don't really have to worry about it, but just in case. Okay, let's see. So scales. All right, so he's got basically going through the entire part of his body here. He's got like you know, like an alligator kind of pattern. So I'm just doing like little rectangles. You know, they're not perfectly lined up because that's nature and nothing really is. So they got, you know, it's a little bit of a concave on the edge. Oh boy, there's a lot going on. Okay, and then don't draw the scale pattern on his claws there. We'll leave those are kind of left as is, so that you can, so you're not getting drowned in detail there. And I'm just kind of cleaning up a little bit of my lines over here for as far as where I want to see, you know, because I use the same width of pen for all of this, so the details can kind of blur together unless you go in and fatten up some of this stuff where you really want to see like a contrast between the colors, which we'll get to. There are colors behind him, and like the scales. You know, you don't want to immediately just be drawn to the scales here. You want to see, like, I guess the anatomy of the dragon. Again, it's the Druk, the thunder dragon. And I am almost positive this is the only flag that has a dragon on it. Don't quote me on that, but okay, so that's Bhutan. And so the jewels symbolize the wealth of the country, and the white color stands for purity in the dragon. All right, so now he does have like a red and a yellow. It's more of like a dark yellow, and I don't know if you can really see it right now, but I did draw a diagonal line there as far as you know, where I wanted those colors to be, and I can still kind of see it there. Okay, so because I have to hit this part first, I'm going to use my fine, because I don't really want to get lost, or I don't want to here, hold on one second. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I don't want to have it like bleed into that black there, which looks like it's not, so that's good, because I can always go over with the fatter side of the marker later. Just make sure I get into all the little nooks and crannies here first before I just hit the whole thing with this. And they say on the flag that this is yellow. It's not like yellow like Guyana. Like if you look at the flag, it's a much darker yellow, but when they describe the flag, they say yellow. So kind of yellow, I guess, but definitely more of like a brownish, like dirty yellow. And does anybody know anything about Bhutan? Put it in the comments, because I really don't. You don't ever hear about this country anywhere, really. You know, basically all the news in that part of the world comes out of either India or Pakistan. You hardly ever hear anything about Bhutan. And then let me just take my straight edge really quick, and I want to just make sure I didn't. Okay, so yeah, I can already tell right here that that should be yellow too. Okay. And this, all right, so right underneath his belly there should be, and then if I line that up again real quick, that's in his body, so we're good there. Okay, just make sure I didn't want to, and this is like a tight spot right here, but I guess, yeah, that's good. All right, so there's the yellow, and then I'm just gonna hit the fat part. I'm going to just fill in the rest of the flag. And we'll go in and bring it right up to the border after the fact. Oops, went over there a little bit. Oh well. Okay. So I guess the background colors represent spiritual and secular powers of the country. The yellow represents the ruling dynasty, the Wangchuks. And they're saying this is orange, but it's more of like a very, very dark reddish brown. And that is associated with Buddhism. And he doesn't have as much going on down here as far as like details, like with all those feathers and stuff up there. So for this part, I think I'm just going to hit it with the fat part of the marker. And we should be able to do that fairly clean. Yeah, and that's perfect. Yeah, because that the black that I use, that's all dry now, so it's not going to smear at all. And it wasn't the black marker that I used for this. I used the pen. So you find, you know, the markers that I use, they're meant to be, you're meant to have a bit of a lead time with them, like where they're still wet, so you can use them to blend before they dry. Whereas the pens, you know, that dries pretty much instantly. Okay, so what's going on with this mouth here? This is a little bit more detailed. Okay, and then I got a really, really thin sliver up here. Okay, so now it's going to go in and carry the rest of that triangle over to the edge. Just get underneath his foot there and around the pearl. Okay, almost done. Then I'm just gonna get my bottom. Any parts that are white, just make sure those are filled in. Okay, and I'm looking at the top part. Where'd that marker go? There we go. Just want to hit that a little bit more. Okay. Now let's just take my 0.5 and we're just going to close off the borders here. Sorry, messed up there. Probably just hit that with white out or something later. Okay, then the top part. So yeah, by far the most detailed flag I've done on this. I don't think anything else even comes close. Possibly Kiribati. You know, still waiting, Kiribati, to hear from you on my dual citizenship request. James draws everything at gmail.com. James draws everything. That's all one word. Waiting to hear from you. All right, Bhutan. What do you think? Definitely a pretty unique flag. So go ahead and comment below. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And I will catch you on the next video.